Take it easy and solve the school lunch problem with SPAM. S-P-A-M.
こんにちは、タイガークローラジオ。You are listening now. Back J.
You are listening to Tiger Claw Radio. Number 1 in vintage computer and video game entertainment. And now your host, Critical Failure.
Let's get that on. Good, we should be... Every week, you think at least one time I would have my mic on and up and running and my levels checked before we start. What is going on, everybody? You are listening to Tiger Claw Radio, episode 193. My goodness, we are approaching 200 episodes, getting a little bit closer all the time. Okay, so this is an important one because I'm going to be out for 2 weeks after the release of this week's episode. So, going on right now is Evo. Let's see, this portion is being recorded on Friday, so Evo started today, and I really wanted to watch the round 1 Street Fighter V pools, but I was working. I didn't get the chance. So what's going to happen for me is I'll probably end up tuning in. I'll be with my family over the weekend, and then I'll tune into the highlights over the week. And that'll be great. So hopefully, when we get back, I can go over some Evo highlights. That should be really, really cool. But over the weekend, I hope you guys, if you're into fighting games, are catching it. Because if I had the extra time, you can believe I'd be there. All right, so let's do this. I came across a couple of tracks over on the U Collective that I thought were worth sharing indeed. This track is called Monotron. Oh, hang on. Let's see if I can get the title of the track. Monotron is the name of the artist. The track is FTW, LSDJ, and guitar. That's what they named the file name anyway. It's not coded, so that's the closest to a track name I have. The way it's written in the description when I downloaded it made it sound a lot like it was a tech test, but it has a really tight groove and a full sound to it, and I dig it very much. You guys are listening to Tiger Claw Radio. Okay, so Raiden 3 has been my poison of choice lately. If you guys have that in your Steam collections, Raiden is something that's been on many different consoles and different formats. If you got a copy of Raiden 3, I want you to get it out. I want you to get out a piece of paper, play it a couple times, write down your score. Let's go head to head. This is a YouTube thing. I'm running a series where I'm trying to raise that score, and if you want to compete with me, I'm calling you guys out, you shmup dudes. Get out your copies of Raiden 3, and here's your chance to be the best around. Nothing's ever going to keep you down, etc., etc., etc. All right. Got quite a bit of Vancasting to go over this week, so let's shoot over to the Vancast. Wednesday. It is, all right. I'm pulling out to go to work on Wednesday morning. and it is overcast and humid and dreary, but that's okay because it's still going to be a good day. I got up early this morning. This is one of the mornings I go to work a little bit later. So getting up early provided me with a good amount of time to play some video games. And it was good, man. I had a good morning. I put the coffee on and fired up the Panzer. I played a good bit of H1Z1. I'm playing with the concept of making H1Z1 videos. I've been watching a lot of H1Z1 on YouTube. So that's the content that I'm feeling right now. So it makes the most sense to, try my hand at it. So I got H1Z1 King of the Kill booted up this morning. I had got OBS fired up, and I played a couple rounds. Now, you guys know how this goes. The second you start recording, everything goes wrong in game. I recorded 4 matches, and they were probably the 4 quickest kills, the 4 quickest deaths I've ever had in that game, including the very first time I ever played. Because I think the very first time I ever played, I just booked it. I ran into the woods. I didn't even bother trying to take any weapons. It's like, all right, let's get out of here. So yeah, now I'm oh my gosh, this is the best. All right, the 4th game and final game, I was doing okay. I had some weapons, I had a car, and I ran out into the woods. Drove out. I was driving around the fields looking for a place to ditch the car and then move to go on foot. And I realized I was being tailed by another car. So I swerved and jumped out of the car, pulled out my shotgun, and I was like, all right, I'm ready to do this. So here comes my pursuer in a pickup truck. And here he comes, man. I'm all set. I got that shotgun ready. As soon as the pickup truck comes into view, I start pumping off rounds. And then I realized that just before it came across the horizon, the player had jumped out of the pickup truck and the truck was empty. So I turned and started shooting this truck until I died and realized that the person was actually behind me and I was shooting in the complete wrong direction. Probably the most embarrassing death in H1Z1 King of the Kill I have ever experienced, ever, in 13 hours in that game now. So that was the footage I caught the first time out. And I'll probably put it up anyway because, why not? Why not? I'm not embarrassed. I never set out to be. My skills aren't on trial here. That's what I'm saying, man. I ain't on trial, man. You understand me? You understand? I ain't on trial. I'm just doing. This is not about my coolness, okay? I never set out to be a professional gamer. Just having some fun with some software. Getting shot an awful lot in the land of make-believe. That's how I start my day. So that was fun. I put together a collection of games in Steam recently. Well, this morning, I should say. Where I decided, let's pick out the games that I actually want to do. I want to do videos on. And not really the ones that would, I'm not saying, okay, these are the ones that are going to get views, but when you're looking at 20 video games and there's maybe 2 that, yeah, I think I could play this and make a semi-decent video, at least a video I would like to make. So I got that collection all together, and it's got about 32 games in it. I'm of those games, probably, now mind you, this is 32 out of 1,600. So I think that's a pretty slim list, especially for the kind of just raw LP style videos I've settled into. 32 I think is a very slim list. And of that 32, I'll probably pick out like maybe 4 or 5 and go with those. So that's kind of where Tiger Claw TV is at, the state of the YouTubers. So let's talk about a game I haven't talked about in a long time. Morrowind. Morrowind is an old favorite of mine, and Morrowind was the game that ushered in the LP era for me. It was the game that I played. I mean, it wasn't the first Let's Play I ever did, for sure. But it was the game that showed me that I could still have fun on YouTube, even though I didn't have time to compose well-written and scripted features. I couldn't spend an entire day on editing tons and tons of Google images for silly, one-off jokes that might get watched by 50 people. So Morrowind was the game that ushered that in. However, it was also my Morrowind videos, especially the later ones in the series, are the least viewed videos on my YouTube channel. In 8 years on YouTube, the lowest amount of views I've ever accrued is on my Morrowind videos. The very last Morrowind video I put up has been up for 3 months now. And that video, after 3 months, has 8 views. 8. So, the logical thing to do is revisit Morrowind, right? That's the logical thing to do. The last time I left off, I was in the middle of a dungeon, so that's kind of hard to jump back into, but I still have the save file. The game's still installed. I still have all the mods and stuff. So I'm thinking about revisiting Morrowind. Now that, again, it's always been like an anomaly that the worst numbers, but it was a series that my friends seemed to talk highly of. So what do you guys think? Should I play some more Morrowind? Should I make some videos? Something I saw recently, I was looking at like a mods thread. I'm just like, here's some images of games that have been modded really, really hard. And I saw an image of like a GIF of like somebody walking around in an office building in early 90s or late 90s 3D graphics. Somebody walking around in an office building hitting people with like a cane or something. And it turned out that was like a heavy total conversion for Morrowind. And I was intrigued. I don't know what it was called or what you do. I just know it looked pretty neat. And I'm certainly not going to get there in my main conquest, my main storyline series. But I don't know. That just got me thinking about Morrowind again. Morrowind is the most played of the Elder Scrolls games for me, which is like, I guess not the norm. Most people really seem to dig Skyrim, and then a lot of people who are a little older than that talk about how Oblivion was great when it came out. Do you know, I was reading the other day, somebody said on the internet, I kind of grew up with Skyrim. Can you imagine that? Somebody growing up with Skyrim? Skyrim being the game they grew up with? I can't fathom what that would be like. Right? When did Morrowind come out? Morrowind came out in like 2002, right? It was early 2000s. I can't remember exactly when, but it was a game I discovered long after the fact. I didn't play it when it came out, so whatever. Even Morrowind would not be a game I grew up with. The games I grew up with would be like Wizardry 5 for the Super Nintendo. That's an RPG I grew up with. What else? The first 30 minutes of any given JRPG from that era. Those are the games I grew up with. Like Final Fantasy VII, the first disc. I never beat that game, but the first disc I played several times. You could say that's a game I grew up with. I don't know. It just seems weird to me. And then Skyrim came out. Skyrim's only like 6-7 years old, something like that. I don't know. I guess in video game years that is really old. I don't know. This is just me coping with getting older and measuring that in video games. they make a solid yardstick to measure yourself against. So here is my question of the week, guys. And it's a broad one. What's a game that you, quote unquote, grew up with? And please tell me it's not Skyrim. Holy crap. That made me depressed. I don't need that before I go to work in the morning. I grew up with Skyrim. Oh! It's not a bad game. I grew up with Skyrim. I played it as a little kid, man. Alright, I'm getting upset. I'm getting upset at the passing of time and my aging, wrinkled, ugly face. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go do my day at work. Back home, safe in Panzer Studios. Feels good, man. Sitting in my 1960s hardwood office chair, which weighs about 1,000 pounds. Recording on Friday night, and then I'm gonna play some games. So let's do this. I want to take a couple minutes to thank the patrons. This is a Patreon-supported show. I do zero business with YouTube. After 8 years on YouTube, I have made 0 cents. I have never received a single dollar from YouTube. So this show is still here because of the patrons. So they are Hemrock, James, Sendu, Tecmo Balls, Darabka, Six Health of Fury, and the Cartridge Brothers. Special thanks to the Cartridge Brothers, whom I forgot to add to the list last week. Didn't want to snub you guys. If you're not familiar with the Cartridge Brothers, they do a bit of work. The Cartridge Club is like a community that they run. And of the stuff that they do, my favorite is CC Weekly, which comes out on... They put it out on their YouTube channel in bits, and then they also have Podbean, where they do a single weekly MP3 that you can snag. And I found that to be very good commute listening. So hats off to the Cartridge Brothers. Many thanks for rallying behind TCR, because I need it. Really helps a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's go back to chips. Okay, chip music. I have 2 other really good tracks I found that I thought were worth playing. How about I don't know if I pronounce this right. Laugh the Fox or Leif the Fox. And what is this one called? RKM Draft Extreme Rocket. Extreme Crockett? I don't know. This is Laugh the Fox. It's off of U Collective. It's a good track. Tiger Claw Radio. Listen with your ear satellites. All right, let's return to the Vancast.
All right, it's Thursday morning. Can you believe it? Let's do a third Vancast. Why not? I got some games to talk about. Usually doesn't happen on a Thursday morning, but I can't say it's never happened. I got an email yesterday about an up-and-coming Lode Runner Legacy game on Steam, which by now is already out. And I got a preview code, which is pretty sweet, so I got it on Steam, and I got to give it a try this morning, and I believe this afternoon it drops for release. So, very cool game. They did a good job. One of my problems with these types of reboots is when they stray too far from the source material, you know? They try and bring something back to life, and in doing so, the spirit of the original is lost. I think that they did a good job keeping that from happening on this one, because they have the complete original 99 level campaign, and it has like classic graphics that look and feel very old. Hang on a second. Somebody's going for their morning walk in the middle of the road. I'm not trying to kill anybody out here today. Okay. Yeah, so good looking graphics. The new graphics look and feel new. You know, new but true, I should say. And the classic version has graphics that are easily recognizable. The gameplay is great. It recognized my controller, and the controls were set and bound very well automatically, which I think we should be it's something that we should be able to expect here in 2017, in current year. It does not have a Linux version, which I think, look, I know not everything's going to have a Linux version. Not every game is going to be a Linux compatible game. But I think with these arcade classics, they should be. You know? That's one gripe I had with the game, is that it is Windows only. And I feel like a Lode Runner game, you should be able to run that on Linux. And you can. I like that they have a workshop. That is enough to make me look past the lack of a Linux version. The only real, I think, thing that they gotta fix is it's launching at $20. $20. Look, even with the fact that there is good workshop support, even with the fact that you can build items and characters pixel by pixel, voxel by voxel, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of amazing stuff in the workshop because of that, it's $20 for Lode Runner. That's a lot. It really is. And that's something I think they should fix. Now, it's launching at that, and I've always kind of known that the vast majority of video games, at least, you know, I see this the most in computer games, but it's across the board, will go down, you know, as time goes by. It happens. There's exceptions to the rule, but prices change. This is it's hot off the line. It's being released today, so I think this is the time where you're going to pay the early adopter premium. I just feel like for a game that doesn't have compatibility with SteamOS. Oh, hang on a second. McDonald's time, let's get marsed. I'm now waiting in line in the McDonald's drive-thru to get my dose of poison for the morning. American poison, oh yeah. And it has cost me my train of thought in a big way. I can't remember at all what I was saying. I was talking about Lode Runner and how it's overpriced. Overpriced, but gotta say, impressive software otherwise. Ran good, good controller support, the music was good, the gameplay just felt right, and it has a lot of modes, custom levels, an entirely new campaign plus the original. I mean, that right there is 150 levels of Lode Runner. That's more Lode Runner than I think I could ever handle. but I feel like $20 is a lot. But I don't know. On the other hand, we had a discussion recently about the bundle verse. Just seeing things for bundles for super cheap. And on top of that, we've got Steam sales making it hard to pay premiums like this. So I don't know. Maybe it's not as bad as I think, and I'm just getting I'm just getting jaded because of that. But I certainly a million thanks to the PR rep for providing a review code. Apart from that, I 100% say this is a good piece of software. Especially if you like Load Runner. The fact that they tipped their hat to the pre-8-bit computing days and made a mode that looks like the Commodore 64 version, I think is dope, with a capital D. All right, hang on a second. Almost my turn. Oh yeah. All right. So I guess to wrap up, there was more I wanted to go over apart from Load Runner. I also played some Raiden 3 lately. I mean, you guys may have seen the video I put up earlier in the week. I was playing that with a keyboard, and talk about terrible, configuration and just total lack of gamepad support. I was plugging things in, trying to figure out a gamepad that worked, and nothing would. And I finally figured out it's one of those where when you launch it from Steam, rather than going directly into the game, Steam gives you a little pop-up. It's like, do you want to play it, or do you want to configure it? Which do you want to do? Look, I know you hit the play button and all, but this is where you go to configure it. All right, little buddy, don't hurt yourself there. I can do my own configuration. So I got a copy of Joy to Key. Now, this is the first time I've had to get Joy to Key on the Panzer ever. And I've been running that thing for about a year now, and I've never had to do it, which is pretty sweet. I'm pretty happy about that. The gamepads that I use these days are pretty recognizable. I used to use a lot of generics, which I still say is a good way to spend your money. If you don't want to buy an expensive gamepad, get on eBay, order yourself a Gravis Gamepad Pro, the ones that have a USB connection. That worked very, very well while that was my go-to gamepad. I would still use that if I didn't have a fight pad by now. But, so got Joy to Key installed. I was able to play it with a gamepad today. And I set a new high score, and I made a good video. That should be coming out Friday afternoon. By the time you're hearing this, that should be like the hot video. The hotness on Tiger Claw TV. Alright guys, let's see if we can get this up to 10 views. Come on. Come on, thugs. Come on, thugs. Let's see if we can get this up to 2 likes, man. Smash that like button. Do people still say smash that like button? I don't really hear that anymore, except for people who make fun of YouTubers. I don't know. Consider smashing the like button, I guess. Not a whole lot else to say about that. I'm playing Raiden 3 a couple times over the last couple days. Has got me back into the idea of doing shmups. Harder shmups, I think, are better for me, because you can get through an entire game very quickly. If you're gauging high scores on extreme hard mode or whatever, then it only takes a couple of minutes before you die, and then you can maintain a private scoreboard and then have fun that way. I think that makes for good videos as well. The Raiden series in particular is great. I wish I had played that series more. I had the Raiden trilogy on the Ouya. It's probably one of the few remaining games on the Ouya that I really, really enjoyed that you can't get anywhere else like that. Don't get me wrong, it's a .emu game and it's everywhere. I mean, every platform sells it, but the only other place that it's really available to me is Steam. And I'm told that the Steam version has a lot of problems. There's screen flickering and things like that, and that really bums me out. One of these days, I'm sure it'll go on sale. I'll just pick it up anyway. Who knows? But the riding games are great. Super, super unforgiving. Holy crap. One little bullet touch, and that's it. You explode. Now, I think the last shmup that I played, and to the point where I was like into it, was Tyrian 2000, the MS-DOS game. I still have it on GOG, and I was playing that at some point. I don't know how long ago this was, but that's a game where you have a health bar. So in stark contrast, the presence of a health bar makes it so that they can put more, all kinds of enemies, because it's a little bit more forgiving, It's okay if they make it so that there's no way to dodge everything, because all you have to do is dodge, 50, 30, 20%, something like that, depending on your skill level, whatever. And I always forget that going into riding. One touch and you explode. Even in Dodonpachi, there's like the auto bomb setting. So if something touches you, then one of your bombs goes off. So ultimately, you have like 3 or 4 touches before you finally explode. But I like that. Like it's always the same, because I've gone into this game like a couple of different times now. Not so much with Raiden 3, but with Raiden 4 I've done this, where the first bullet touches and I explode and I'm taken aback, but then after that I'm like, okay, something is at stake here. I can get into this. So yeah, that's cool. I think it was Raiden 4. It was either Raiden 4 or Dodonpachi, where I actually set up tape mode and I turned my monitor on its side. And I was like, yeah, this is dope. I got tape mode. I'm playing, elongated screen. I love this. This is beautiful. And it is. And then like when I set everything back to the way it was supposed to go, the monitor started flickering a little bit. And I was like, never doing tape mode again. Not ever. I can't afford, as it is, the monitor I have now. I was able to buy it because it was, heavily discounted. I think it's like a $110 monitor, and I got it for like $72 in some kind of sale. So, I got to be careful with my equipment, because when something breaks, it's very, very, very costly. So that's it I can't believe I did 3 Vancasts this week. Come on, are you kidding me? Is it that hard to record at home? That's okay. The numbers have been way, way down on TCR lately anyway. I don't know. I'm gonna have to shake things up a little bit. Hey! This is usually when I start to like slip into hiatus. It's like, it feels like nobody's listening anymore. We'll just take a break for a couple of months. Then when I come back, then everybody's there waiting and it feels good again. So I will find a way to shake this up, and we'll do that. All right, for now I'm going back to the studio. See you guys there.
All right, this song is called Losing Save, 2 times LSDJ. It's from Casca. You guys are listening to Tiger Claw Radio. intro, isn't it? Oh yeah, they're fading out now. Alright, guys. Let's head over to the Vancast. I'm sorry. We did the Vancast a couple times. We're going to do the fail bag. So the way this works is anything you have that you want to say to the show, you can leave it in a comment anywhere where comments are accepted. So YouTube is the primary place. If you head over to YouTube, most of the comments I get are left there. But you can also, if you know me personally, like most of you guys do, you can write me an email. Head over to thenextround.net. You can leave a comment there, and any of that stuff is liable to be read on the air as long as I can remember to look for it. So, last thing I want to do, I'm just going to pop in and check the old Tiger Claw email box. I've got a traditional email box that I forget to check quite often. Nothing in the old email box. Okay, great. So this time out, we got one comment from Death Adder. And he writes, holds up a sword, by the power of the gaming beast and swingle, I have a long comment. And thank goodness, because it's our only one. I like the first 3 sessions. Sessions. Wow, I botched reading that. Let's just take those words back for a second. I liked the first 3 seasons of Family Guy a lot back in 2003 when Adult Swim ran them every night. Since then, since the show has returned from cancellation, I enjoyed the new episodes up until a certain point, but now it's just a platform for Seth MacFarlane to be a liberal douche. It's not cute anymore. I triggered critical failure so hard with that first-person shooter comment that I thought he was going to reenact the Rock versus Mick Foley I Quit match, using Quake big box instead of a steel chair. I think I saw that match. What do I play, you ask? Just this year, I played Dark Souls 3, Rocket League, Life is Strange, Killer Instinct, and Bully. All of those games were 4 to 5 star masterpieces that I put 25 to 100 hours in per game, and I highly recommend all of those titles to anyone who enjoys lots of fun and magical adventures. That's the true Death Adder voice right there. Last gen, I did play Haze, which is pretty good, pretty weak. I also played Duke Nukem Forever. I don't know why I just adopted that for Death Adder, but I think it fits, so we're going to go with it. While I love the humor, I never even finished the game. I did play the Orange Box, thoroughly enjoyed Half-Life 2, so I'll give you that one. This gen, I played the demo for Overwatch. Since I'm not a fake gamer girl, couldn't get into it. I played the demo for Battlefield 1, which I thought was pretty cool, still not worth the purchase. First-person shooter campaigns all feel the same. Playing online as a man in my late 50s will only end up in tragedy. Once you've lived through GoldenEye Wars, every other shooter is just a baby's toy. Interesting that you played Life is Tumblr and you highly recommend it. Oh, really? What was it about that game that you liked? Was it Ashley Birch being a voice actress? Was it the awesome dialogue? Was the dialogue totes a maze? Was it? No, thank you. No, with about 1 million O's in the word no. No, thank you. I can't. All right, let's be fair about this. Old Death Adder, old DA, DA Baracus. Let's be fair, okay? The shooters that you mentioned, I don't like them either. I've got no interest in Overwatch, and I've got even less interest in Battlefield 1. All right, but come on, man, it's a big Jonathan Ray. It's a big John Ray of games. There's many games in that genre. I'm sure if I really thought, we could find a game that fit your broccoli tastes perfectly, alongside such masterpieces like Life is Tumblr and Killer Instinct. You liked Killer Instinct? Oh man, I never liked Killer Instinct. I always thought it It was super popular, even back in the day, man. Killer Instinct came in this cool black SNES cartridge. And my older brother I remember playing Killer Instinct 2 in the arcade with my older brother. I never thought there was anything to any of that series. And I've tried it on multiple occasions. I've never had any interest in Killer Instinct. And this is somebody who's always thought of... I've never been great at fighting games, and I've never made it my go-to study of video games, but I've always thought fighting games were cool. All right? I'm like, you look at... I see what Capcom does with their fighting games, and even though I never really, until Street Fighter V, took them seriously as a time, sink, I always thought they were cool. I never thought Killer Instinct was cool. Ever. And that certainly applies to the latest version. Sorry, bro. I know it feels harsh. But you're talking bad about my shooters. And I think the funny part is I don't really have any shooters that I could make. No, that's not true. What about the new Wolfenstein game? That looks pretty dope. Although, to be fair, I haven't actually loaded it up myself. H1Z1's pretty cool, but that's not a first-person shooter. That's a third-person shooter. That's a huge difference, son. Huge 9 O's. Huge difference. But mad respect for Dark Souls 3, because I haven't gone through any of the Dark Souls games yet. And by gone through, I mean played until I was too frustrated. Not played till I finished, because I hear tell that nobody does that. I played Demon's Souls a couple times on the PS3, but with children, I couldn't play it, enough to really dig in. I couldn't play games you couldn't pause at that time. Now I can. I just have to wait till everybody's asleep. The kids are a little older. They're sleeping through the night. They're doing their own thing, and I can put them to bed at night and then come up and play games, and I know they'll be fine. Different scenario. Now I could get into Dark Souls. At this point, I haven't yet. Dark Souls 1 has been in my backlog for a very long time. I have it on Steam. I even have it on the Xbox 360 on my account. It's just not installed because the hard drive is teeny tiny. So, what are you going to do? That's about... Hang on. Oh, man, I'm really trying not to belch into the microphone. Really trying to keep that from happening. I think that's about what I got. When we return, which is going to be in a few weeks, I'm going to do the... I'm going to return to the retrospective of Starship Amazing. Keep it on Tiger Claw TV for some content over the vacation. Because I have Patreon running, I'm going to make sure content is coming in. It won't be TCR because Podomatic does not let me schedule releases. And it's too much work to put together 3 hours of podcasting in a couple of days so that, stuff will come out. The only way I could arrange that is if I literally just did microphone diarrhea. And just, it would be not good. But yeah. So I hope however your life is, whatever brought you to this point in your life, that you've been listening to Tiger Claw Radio for 46 minutes and 45 seconds. I hope it's going good. All right? It's Monday, This Monday is release day. Make it a good week. Keep at it. Keep your nose right there on that grindstone. Especially if you don't want to keep it there. Keep at it and don't give up. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm getting up and I'm going to work every day. I know exactly where I have to be. And like it or not, that's where I'm going to be. Because I got people dependent on me and I'm not going to let them down. I'm rooting for you guys. Make it a good one. I'll see you in 2 weeks.